Testaments ended at such a huge point in the season, and I cannot stand the cliffhanger, but the way they ended this, I'm kind of satisfied for because it sets us up beautifully for season 2. So let's get into it. At the end of the season, we have Becca in custody of the eyes. We have Daisy being pulled out of Gilead because of her actions and her inability to take orders from Mayday, which was what she wanted, and we'll get into that. And we have Agnes realizing who her mother was. Let's start off with Becca because the way her actress, I think her name is Matea, acted her butt off in those scenes was insane to me. So Becca was taken by the eyes in the second to last episode of the season because of her actions against her father. Now, what I was ruminating over is that they were going to kill her father anyway. The commanders were going to, you know, have him killed by the women. And in Gilead, when a man commits a sin, usually they allow the women to come together to like stone them to death, stomp him off, or whatever. But they're treating Becca differently because they didn't actually give the order yet. She took this into her own hands, and of course, you do not want women in Gilead taking justice into their own hands. And I think they were especially concerned because I think she like stabbed her father 15 times or something. It was an excessive amount. And they were like, nah, she's clearly not in the right state of mind. But the fact that she really, it looked like she was kind of out of it when she walked up on him to kill him, I think really just goes to show how deep her feelings for Agnes goes, even if she doesn't fully realize them. Because, you know, in Gilead, you're not allowed to be gay, you know. She recognizes she has feelings for Agnes that don't match her friends. But, you know, living in Gilead, that self-hate, the suppression of your own emotions really runs deep because you not only face punishment, you face death. Anyway, after Becca kills her father, she goes to Agnes and, you know, because that's the person she's thinking about for comfort. Agnes tells her parents, thinking that they're going to help Becca. Instead, they call the eyes on her, and Becca is thrown into an insane asylum. And I just want to call out, because I didn't know this until somebody told me online. The aunt, I guess, the guard who opened the door for Aunt Lydia when she came to visit Becca in the insane asylum was actually the author of the book. I like that they like put her in there. It's giving some Stan Lee. But anyway, let's get back into it. Aunt Lydia comes to tell Becca, we're going to try to help you. Becca can't hear her. She's singing to herself. And that song was ringing in my head for days after watching this, okay? Because the way she was just singing it, rocking back and forth, just looking off despondently, I was like, man, she really had me feeling for her. But now we have Aunt Lydia and Aunt Vidalia. Now, we know their issues with each other. Aunt Lydia almost shot Aunt Vidalia at the beginning of the whole Gilead takeover in order to save herself and gain power. And Aunt Vidalia never forgave her for it. Valid. You have to work with someone who was going to shoot you point blank for the rest of your life. I would hold that against her too. But the girls come and make a good point to Aunt Vidalia and Aunt Lydia and all the aunts. They said they were there to protect them, but they are failing Becca. And I'm glad they took that to heart because in Gilead, they're truly the only women that have even a smallest measure of power. The wives don't really, they're really just ornaments. Yeah, like truly, it's only the aunts that have real power. They're the only ones allowed to read. They dole out punishments. They make decisions like which commander is going to marry who or whatever. They have so much power and they promised to use that power to watch these girls. Now, a lot of their attempts are misguided, but if you reminding them of that vow that they made, really seemed to have woken up something in Aunt Vidala and Aunt Lydia. And it really made them sad because if you can't help these girls, who will, you know? Now, the way they go about helping Becca, I understand they had no other options, but it really was just so heartbreaking to watch. They, before we get into that part, we have Agnes telling Commander, I can't remember this man's name, Commander Old Guy, we'll call him from now. He is still interested in marrying Agnes. And he's asking Agnes, why are you so upset? Like, is there something I can do? And she tells him, can you help Becca? And he's like, I can't. I'm so sorry. But Agnes, and I saw before she said it that she was going to tell him what Becca's father did to her. And I was saying, no, don't tell him. Like, you can't trust these commanders with sensitive information like that. But she told him anyway, and he seems visibly upset. And this is when he was starting to trick me. He seemed visibly upset. He's pacing in the room. He's like, who have you told this to? Have you told your parents? She's like, no. He's like, okay, I'll help your friend. Cool. I was like, oh, a commander offering to help out of the goodness of his heart? He really was tricking me here. He was really tricking me. In any case, he is able to get Becca released from the asylum for 24 hours so she can be with her mom before her trial. He didn't have to do that. I feel like now in hindsight, he only did it to make himself feel better for breaking off his engagement with Agnes. Because now that he knows that she's unclean, he doesn't want her. Now, Agnes did not go into specific detail about how Becca's father touched her, how far the harassment went. So I guess in this commander's mind, it went pretty dang far, and he did not want someone unclean. Disgusting, man. Disgusting. All these men are disgusting. But at least he's out of the picture and our girl Agnes is free, I guess. Anyway, Becca is given 24 hours with her mom, and it is so heartbreaking, the scenes between her and her mother, especially because the only way the aunts can conceive to help Becca out of her situation is to pin the blame on her mother. And her mother is okay with this. They all come together praying, and Becca's like begging, no, 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 but they're like, this is literally the only way. And at the same, we're shown two scenes at the same time of Becca marrying Garth, and she is like not even fully present. Like, she can't even hold her bouquet. She's marrying Garth while her mom is in another courtroom being executed for the murder of her husband. These two women acted their butts off. If they don't win some kind of award, at least some kind of nomination, it'll be a crime. It'll be a crime. But all of this is enough to radicalize Agnes. And she's gonna, it's giving she's gonna follow in the footsteps of her mother. And she finds out that June is her mother. She remembers her mother because her stepmother is, who I think has OCD, by the way, is cleaning the floor in the middle of the night drunk, telling her, you're just like your mother. You're dirty. I always thought she said dirty like a racist sort of thing, but maybe she was just talking about June. But, yeah, so Agnes sees like some pictures from when she was a baby, like she drew, and now she's starting to remember her real mother. And she's like, my mother is Mayday. And it sort of radicalizes her. She's like, you know what? I want to make Gilead better. So at the end of this, she has Shunammite on one side, Daisy on the other. And Daisy, who was supposed to be pulled out of Gilead because she can't follow orders from Mayday. And that's what she was begging for the longest. Remember, she was scared. She was seeing other Mayday operatives being taken to be, interrogated and offed. And she wanted out, and she was not able to reach June. Finally, at the end of the season, she has the opportunity to escape, and she tells June, no, I'm staying. And she lets slip Agnes's name, Agnes Mackenzie, to June, and June realizes, yo, you've been with my daughter this whole time. So June lets Daisy stay. So now we have the three girls at the end walking together in the halls like they're ready to take on the world. And of course, I'm sure they're going to bring Becca eventually, once they get her out of that locked room, because after she married Garth, he locked her in like some attic or whatever. I get it. You don't want her to hurt herself because she is not in the right state of mind right now. She murdered one father. Her mom took the blame for it and was murdered, and now she's forced to marry this guy. Probably going to be forced to have children too. Season 2 is set up to be so, it's going to be amazing. I haven't read the books, but I have heard some spoilers. I'm going to keep them to myself. Maybe I'll put like a spoiler warning on the next video and share some of the spoilers and theories that I've heard. But let me know what you guys thought. How do you feel about how the ending came about? Are you excited for what Agnes is about to do? I'm so excited. I'm not even upset she's not with Garth. This is just a tragic story, but it is written so beautifully, in my opinion. I'll catch you guys next time.